Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. We have a load of topics to cover in today's video, as always, but on that list, we'll include some broken loot farms that you want to jump on Destiny 2 as soon as possible in order to do. We'll also cover exotic farming in general and a big buff to raids, which is coming at tomorrow's reset, as well as some great glitches that you probably want to use now or sooner rather than later, as they will be patched heading into tomorrow's reset. So we're going to cover all that information in today's video. If you enjoy this information, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. And remember to stick around till the end of the video for that secret hashtag you can leave in the comments section to be entered into any future giveaways on this channel. Remember, we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. Over at BANSHEE 44, remember to head over and farm out the crate. Now, this is one of the most broken weapons in the game, and I have tested. There are only a few weapons that actually have this particular combination of perks available, but really what we're talking about is the rounds per minute, which is 720, and the Adagio perk. Now, there are a couple of others, but none are broken like this one, because on this weapon, as well as one other, which I'll talk about right after this, though it doesn't actually apparently work quite as well as the broken perk, which is Adagio, on this. For some reason, on this weapon, and it seems like this weapon alone, Adagio does not slow down the rate of fire. So you get a 30% damage buff as soon as you get one kill at a 720 rounds per minute auto rifle. This is an amazing auto rifle in all PvP. I'm sure it crushes in Trials of Osiris, but it has been absolutely amazing in the Iron Banner for me over the past week. So I would definitely recommend just heading over and at least picking up a few of these. All you're really looking for is the Adagio perk. If you can get a range masterwork on it, that's even better. This weapon, I would compare it directly to the exotic Kvastov. So if you are looking for a different version of Kvastov because you haven't been able to get that exotic yet, or maybe it's not available to you, this is essentially that for two reasons. One, the sight on this is essentially the exact same as Kvastov, only that it is blue. It's a blue crosshair versus a red one, but the scope width as well as the scope length is essentially the exact same as Kvastov. It's also the same rate of fire as Kvastov, and though the Kvastov, I believe, does 23 points of damage per hit, once Adagio is active, or excuse me, I believe Kvastov does 21.5 DPS. This actually does 23.7, I believe. That was the math I did, once Adagio is active. So you just have to get that one kill, and then essentially you have an exotic weapon. Even though this is an old school weapon, it still can be enhanced. Unfortunately, there's no Adept enhanced, and it doesn't come in tier form, but those things really won't matter, especially in the Crucible. Especially when you have a broken perk like that. There's no future of this getting fixed, so pick it up. The other weapon that you can essentially get the same roll with the same broken perk on currently is the Ahab Char. Now, this has the same problem with Adagio in that it doesn't slow down the rate of fire. I don't know if you would call that a problem. Certainly a problem for Bungie, though they'll never fix it. But you benefit in that Adagio does not slow down the rate of fire of Ahab Char from 720, though I've found that this does not work every single time. Whereas the crate, as soon as you get a kill, you get that damage buff, and the rate of fire doesn't slow. I have found that this is about 50-50. So there's a chance that the rate of fire will slow down. There's a chance it won't. Now, still, with the rate of fire slowed, this is still a super meta weapon for PvE, or excuse me, for PvP, but I would also say for PvE. I would pair this with Heal Clip, and I was doing amazing in PvE, and you don't really need necessarily the rate of fire buff in PvE like you would in PvP. But if you want a 50-50 roll on at least getting this potentially broken damage buff occasionally in both PvE and PvP, you can look to this. I'm sure most people have one in their inventory. Again, a range masterwork, does really well. So a couple of broken farms that you should probably be doing, but always look for Banshee, our gunsmith. And remember that these weapons are on rotation. So if you're seeing this today, you can currently go and buy a crate, but tomorrow the Amalon weapons will be here and the Vice weapons will be off. Now that means that in about 4 days' time, they will rotate back, and you will see the Vice weapons on the bottom for a day with, I'm not sure exactly what will be on top, but these will be here, and then the very next day they'll be on the top row. So you get 2 days in a row to farm these every 4 days, essentially. Now, tomorrow, we will be saying goodbye to Iron Banner. Iron Banner, I actually think, was a really good event this time around, mostly because the loot felt really worth it. I would say I would have liked to have seen maybe something new with Iron Banner as far as the game type is concerned. Would have maybe liked to have seen light level enabled again, or maybe you need to use all newer weapons, or I don't know. I mean, we've seen variations on things like that in the past, but or just in the recent history of the last few weeks. As far as the playlist goes and the activity, it was sort of old hat, but the rewards were definitely worth it. And there are a ton of rewards that you can pick up. I would definitely get a ribbon tail if you have time before tomorrow's reset. This is, in my opinion, one of the best weapons for PvP in the game at the moment. I absolutely love this hand cannon. This is the shotgun hand cannon from Iron Banner. It was also available in Arms Week. I find that I pair this with the crate, and not only do I never have to worry about special ammo because it's essentially a special weapon in a primary slot, but it's just perfect, like mid-game to close range gameplay. So there are a couple of times where you might get ranged on some of those longer maps, but overall, and especially because I use Blink on a Warlock, I can usually close the distance and dart in and out and sort of just play that mid-range game, and I find it to be just absolutely dominant, those combinations were used together. So maybe think about giving that a try and picking up these before tomorrow. The other thing is that for the actual old school weapons that you can now focus, as well as all the old armor, which I picked up a bit of, I would consider picking up a Lethal Abundance if you never had the chance to in the past. This is a great weapon for, you can have a great role for PvE, but it's also amazing in PvP, and I think it's been just a little overshadowed recently, especially because tier weapons are sort of the in vogue thing to have at the moment. But believe me when I tell you, some of the old just regular enhanced weapons, or if you have an Adept enhanced weapons, they compete directly with Tier 3, Tier 4 loot. Tier 5 only sort of outpaces them slightly because you have more options, and there is, like, I think a 5% damage buff on Tier 5 loot. But in general, some of these old ones are amazing to get. Not everybody can get the tiered weapons and armor, so certainly worth picking up. The Nature's Reclaim was also an interesting scout rifle at a time, but I always loved the Dark Decider, another 720 RPM auto rifle. I don't know if this can roll with Adagio, but this might end up be another one that is maybe worth looking at as far as that glitch is concerned. I've always also loved the sniper rifle, whose name I'm not going to pronounce at the moment. You can leave the name of this sniper rifle down below, the correct pronunciation, but I always do love this one with opening shot. We also have the Bite of the Fox you can get with opening shot, which was also a very crispy sniper rifle. So remember to do those things, as we won't see Iron Banner again for about a month. Over at Eververse, a few interesting items. We have the Woven Storm ship, pick that up if you didn't have it. We also had the Hexer boots. Pretty cool. And down we had the Take a Seat emote, which is a glitch emote. So this is one of those emotes that you can use to actually glitch your head into a wall and possibly avoid getting aggro from enemies. No better was this used in things like the old Warsack glitch for the, I can't remember the name of the strike at the moment, but that one. Actually, let me just look really quick because I know that it's Fallen Saber. Not sure why I couldn't remember that. But you can also use this in other places at the moment. If we head over to the portal, there is a pretty easy, I believe it's under Pinnacle, glitch that you can use for what exotic mission? I think it's the Kel's Fall mission. I believe you can glitch inside a wall and bypass a couple of spots. Also available today for the Heaven Vengeance dungeon, or the dungeon encounter, we have the Mint Retrograde, everybody's favorite pulse rocket-assisted scout rifle, or excuse me, pulse rifle. Pulse rifle, rocket-assisted. So make sure to head over there and farm this out. There's also a pretty easy glitch that you can use in this, in the Quick Fang sword glitch. You can use this to basically knock out any boss in the game in about 4 or 5 hits, but especially that one. And this will be leaving us tomorrow. So, in accordance with that, we'll move on to the second topic, which is just farming in general. If you are in the market to farm out power or tier 5 armor and weapons at the moment, you have 24 hours at the time of posting this to use the Quick Fang sword glitch to your advantage and get maybe triumphs or completions on any of this stuff, but mostly probably just to farm out things a lot faster, maybe get some extra loot. But we will only have the glitch, which if you didn't know, allows this weapon to do 10 times the damage when you don't have any ammo on it and you jump and swing and do a light attack. Only 24 hours left. The Sturm glitch, there's a big question mark on this one, but once the sword glitch is gone, the Sturm glitch is going to be the next best thing. I personally wish Bungie would just leave all of these things. They might be leaving this one, but if you didn't know, Sturm, when you get a kill with any sidearm, it can be any sidearm, and then switch to Sturm, you will get a 4% damage buff to all your abilities. So any ability, including your super, will get 4 times damage just from getting a kill with your sidearm and switching to Sturm and making sure that the Sturm overcharge buff is active. It doesn't have to have a multiplier. The multiplier doesn't count, but as long as you have 1 Sturm overcharge round and you don't use it, you will be able to get 4 times damage. So once this is gone, that's going to be the next best option. However, I am not sure if this is getting patched tomorrow. So a big question mark. Bungie did not say anything about this specifically, though they did actually make a post saying that this will be patched at tomorrow's reset. But once it is, this might be the next best option, but keep in mind they might both be gone tomorrow. So if you're looking to do any endgame farming, now is the time to do it, because it's never going to be easier than it is right now. Hopefully we will be able to have the Sturm glitch moving into next week, because next week we are also getting a huge buff to the old world tab. So the long forgotten world tab, I really think Bungie needs to bring this back in some way, and they are essentially, without actually giving us any indication, because starting tomorrow, any of the old raids, any of the old classic raids, not Garden of Salvation because that's a quest exotic, but any of the old raids, if you go to our Legends tab, will have the exotics available for infinite farming. So that means all you need is a checkpoint on one character. You don't even have to swap characters. You can get a boss checkpoint and farm out any exotic over and over again as many times as you want. All exotics will be farmable starting tomorrow. This is very much like when we used to have the featured raids and dungeons before the launch of Edge of Fate. Now essentially every old raid and dungeon is farmable. You don't have to switch classes. It's just every single time you get a completion on the last encounter of any dungeon or raid, there will be a chance for the exotic to drop. So enjoy that. I really hope they don't fix the Sturm glitch tomorrow. It would have been a great week to have the sword glitch, because I am going to be farming out a lot of these, because there are still several exotics, especially the dungeon exotics, that I do not have. For any new players, this is the location of all the old raids and dungeons. We have a lot of them, didn't we? Anybody who didn't start playing before the portal was here, doesn't this look like a lot more fun than the portal? I know the portal is direct, but I still feel like we should have all the markers on this screen. And maybe they'll bring them back with the featured raids and dungeons. This is also where the crafting table is. I've had a lot of people ask, where do you craft weapons? That's where you go. So hopefully we'll have that into tomorrow, but again, I'll probably do some damage testing and some updates after tomorrow's reset, just to see what we're actually getting and what is staying. Remember to also head over to our buddy over here, Commander Zavala, and pick up your weekly loot for those bonuses to your power. We will have Trials of Osiris back again next weekend, so that'll also be a good place to farm for some power. And that is going to conclude all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. Be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things I just mentioned will also enter you into any future giveaways on this channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away a new console or a video card if you play on PC. You can also stick around for the very tail end of this video, because we are going to go to one more location in the tower, which will show you the secret hashtag. And no, it's not XUR, though if there was anything from XUR you wanted to pick up this week, make sure to head over there. I did have a breakdown on my XUR video on Friday if you want some further information. Some interesting items there nonetheless, but unfortunately without the sword glitch, some of them won't be quite as good. And for that secret hashtag, make sure to, when you are in the tower, always head down towards the annex and make sure to say hi to our buddy Archie and leave a hashtag Archie in the comments section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And once more, I am Wilhelm Scream. Thanks again so much for all the support. And of course, we will see you next time.